Again, we're very excited to welcome you to our Q1 2024 meeting. We will have quarterly meetings throughout the year, and excited to see each and every one of you. We do recognize that the society exists to really bring people and businesses and ideas together. And this past year has been very exciting with a number of webinars and legislative Q&As and great activity from our committees. So today I want to just remind you of our vision, which is to be the voice of the industry, defining the standards for professionalism in IT services. We are hosting this meeting in compliance with our code of ethics, as well as it's directly aligned with our vision and mission. And our hope is to have not only a time where we're updating you on what's going on with NSITSP and its volunteer leaders, but also to hear from you. So please feel free to post and chat. We will open up our time together with a live Q&A as well, but feel free to use the chat to post any questions that you may have as well throughout our time. As far as this recording is concerned, we will make this available. This will be posted within 24 hours on our YouTube channel, as well as on the NSITSP website. And that will be posted under our recorded member meetings. For today's agenda, we will definitely hear from our president, Amy, with just an update on the society and any reports from the board. I started off, didn't introduce myself. My name is Nicole Singleton Norman, and I am the new executive director to NSITSP. And of course, I cannot even begin to fill the shoes of our founder and initial executive director, Carl. But believe me, I'm learning as I go. And but I will provide some announcements from the management office. Also, we will have our Vice President, Heather, who will introduce our committees, which will provide reports. And then today we will highlight our marketing committee. And there's a lot of activity, and we're eager to hear from our marketing committee. And then again, we will open up for any discussion. Your photo is being captured, so if you'd like to go off camera, you can do that. Also, the audio is being recorded. And at this time, I'm going to ask Amy if she would provide us with any remarks or updates, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. If you're new to the concept of NSITSP, let me just take a minute and introduce ourselves to you. Carl Polachek and I founded this organization because it was time. It was time that our craft became a profession, and as MSP owners and IT people working in this industry for a long time, we were just tired of having to compete with those that are less than professional. This last week, I was at SMB Tech Fest, one of our great vendor partners, and I spoke to many people at our booth, and I asked if they ever ran into a shady IT professional. Well, as sure you probably know, every one of them said yes. And we know this problem exists, but there hasn't been a way for us to fix it. And this organization is going to fix that problem. It hasn't happened yet, and it won't happen this year either, but our hardworking committee members are making strides in that direction little by little, and we will get there. In the end, consumers of our services will be able to tell IT people apart, much like they understand what sort of person in the field of mechanics does what type of work. They know what to expect from someone at the oil change shop and from someone who's a certified mechanic with a specialization in electronics. And we need that level of understanding in IT too. So yesterday I had a massage. I know you're all jealous. The therapist was telling me that she's going to be off work for a few days because she has to attend a class and finish her continuing education hours in order to renew her license. Imagine that a massage therapist has a higher requirement to be able to work in the field than we do. So in addition to the work that has to be done to build a system that will recognize and define professionalism, we also need members. Today, we're getting close to 1,000 members of varying types. More business owners are joining their whole company, which is really great to see. And although we haven't actually counted up those associate members in our totals, but at any rate, we're somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 members, but that doesn't really get us the respect that's required to make the real change. We need 10,000 members or even 100,000 members. Today, you're going to hear from each of our committees. They will have a summary of what they've been up to and how you can help. Our featured committee is marketing, and these are the folks that are in charge of getting us to those daunting numbers. But it won't just be up to them. It is up to all of us to get the word out there that we exist, that we have an important mission, and that everyone needs to join and support the cause. So I want now to bring back Nicole. She's going to give us a short report on some of our key statistics and information about upcoming events.
Thank you, Amy. And just to build on to the numbers that Amy mentioned to us, we currently have 258 professional members, and we have 58 company members, again, with various numbers of contacts on our database. We also have 16 associate members and 621 members who registered when the organization was just launched as either free members or continue to join us as registered guests for a total of 953. So just shy of that, of our 1,000 mark that we're aiming to get here in very short order. In addition to that, we know that as a membership organization, we're always looking for volunteers. With anything, you get out of it what you put in. So highly encourage you to reach out to us. You can just shoot us an email to the admin@nsitsp.org to express your interest in our committees. We currently have 4 active committees, and that includes our finance, our governance, legislative, and marketing committees. And we will hear from those chairs today, but please consider getting involved and engaged in addition to the professional development opportunities that we offer. I do want to just mention about some of our past and upcoming sessions. Typically, each month we have a content-based webinar. Some of those that we've had here in recent months included bad customer interactions, hit your bottom line. That came out in January. We also had both Amy and Carl lead a session on retirement is so 20th century. That was a great session, and as business owners or business leaders, this is really key to take note of. We also have highlighted AI is revolutionizing customer service and anatomy of a plan. And all of these recordings are available on the NSITSP.org website. The actual recording of the Zoom presentation as well as a transcript. So encourage you to go out to the member resources section. It's definitely one of our benefits as members, and it's available for you there under the resources section of the NSITSP website. Coming up in every month, we have a very interactive legislative Q&A session. This is great because we learn about various legislation that's being proposed across the country, and then also receive tips on how to best engage with legislators in our various states or communities. So all are welcome to attend this. This is an open session, and it takes place every first Tuesday of the month. So we have one that's approaching quickly on Tuesday, March 5th. Please mark your calendars, and we'll definitely have email reminders as well. But please put these on your calendar because this is a great interactive session and a great time for you to get your hands on resources. And we do also have legislative resources available on our website. We will again meet for our next all-member meeting on May 8th. Again, these take place the second Wednesday of each of the second month of each quarter. So again, we'll meet May, August, and November. And then we also ask you to join our conversation on our social media pages. So if you have not yet joined as members or interested members or our vendor partners, please join in on our conversation. Our social media links are posted here, but we definitely have these linked from our website as well. So if you haven't signed up or followed us, please do so today. And then we have a number of partners that we encourage you to meet up with us. And then also, we also encourage our members to volunteer in supporting NSITSP at various shows. We typically have a booth during the vendor or expo opportunities. These include Channel Pro, Channel Company Exchange is coming up soon. I know that we'll have a presence with ChannelWise Coaching Cafe, MSP Rescue, and all of the shows at SMB Tech Fest as well. So please visit this, and we'll have the links available in the recording and on our website for these shows. If you're interested in volunteering, we definitely equip all of our volunteers with materials to support NSITSP. Again, it's a great way to network and connect and further expand our organization. So feel free to reach out to us at admin@nsitsp.org, which is our email. Again, reach out to us either through the contact page on our website or via email. We would love to see you there and connect. And even if you're there attending, please drop by our booth just to say hi and connect with other NSITSP members. I want to send a very special thanks out to our vendor partners who've already either joined us in 2024 or have renewed for 2024. Really, as a newer organization, as we continue to grow and provide value and resources to our members, our vendor partner community is so important to our organization. So if you know of any vendors that definitely fit in with NSITSP and would like to be a part of our organization, please make the connection. And then also to our vendor partners that may be present, thank you so very, very much. And if you see any of these vendor partners, please thank them as well for just their continued support of NSITSP. And there's more information about our vendor partner program on our website if you're interested in being a part. And at this time, I'm going to introduce our Vice President, Heather, and Heather will introduce each of our committee chairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm really happy to be here today with you all on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Committees. I know you think, I don't want to be on a committee. That's a lot of work. Or I don't know about finance or governance or legislative or marketing. That's fine, but it's actually more fun than you think. And you probably know a lot more than you think you do about these things. We really want to get a wide variety of people to join together and be on these committees. And they're always looking for more members. Some of the neat things that I've seen by attending some of the meetings in the past is, the finance committee, they're not all finance professionals, but they're working together. They have interest in money issues and getting things working the right way. You don't need to be an expert in marketing. And you know what? You might learn a few things you can bring back to your MSP as well. So there's a lot of advantages in volunteering. And we'd really love to see you be a part of one of these committees. So make sure if you have an interest that you join, you email admin@nsitsp.org because we would just love to have you join us there. I'm going to start with the Finance Committee and Tracy Harden, who's going to give us, tell us a little bit about what they've been working on.
Oh, sorry, I had to check my mute there. Hey everybody. Thanks, Heather. You kind of stole some of my thunder. My committee is actually looking for help And like she already said, you don't have to be an expert in accounting or finance. All you have to do is care about how NSITSP spends their money. That's what we're looking for. So I'd love to have another 1 or 2 members to our committee. Right now we're working on a program. Well, the budget's done for this year. So right now we are working on a program to, it's an expense donation program. So we have particular expenses that we need paid to run NSITSP as an overall organization. So we would love to have more donations come into for particular needs. So my committee is working on that. Those are the kinds of things we do in my committee. We do budget and we talk about money and look at the bottom line and review financials, but we also look at ways to make the organization, I can't use the word profitable, but to bring money in to fund the programs that we want to do. It's going to take a lot of money to make the changes we want to do. So we are always looking for great ideas to bring in more funds. We are also focused on being member driven and not vendor driven. So that's an extra challenge we're working on. But that's what we got going on right now. Would love to have a couple more volunteers on my team as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Tracy. That brings us to Dennis Wilson and the Legislative Committee. Do we have Dennis here?
You got me now. Is that it?
Ah,
Can
there he
everybody
is.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Heather. Our committee is providing guidance for advocacy for IT service providers. And we have a full complement of 7 members currently with an average of 10 attending each of the meetings. So we actually have a pretty healthy group of folk who meet with us all the time and are putting their ideas in and volunteering to talk to legislators. Anyway, the current projects that we have going on, we've got about 4 of them. We currently maintain brochures and guidelines and video trainings for advocacy efforts by our society members. Second, we hold monthly Zoom meetings as was stated previously. This is a Q&A resource for society members who are looking for assistance in their efforts to open doors with legislators throughout the country. Third, we're also building a calendar of pertinent legislation that is actively active, and so we know who's doing what to whom where. And fourth, we have targeted several. We're looking for several states that we can target, that we can set up test sites with. And as part of the advocacy, we take what we have currently and see if that's sufficient, if we need to have more or need to change the way in which we talk to the legislators and their staff and that kind of thing. So we're working on setting that up over the next couple of months. I wanted to thank all of our members for their assistance in making great things happen within this committee, and to invite any society members to our meetings and to participate in advocacy. It is critical to IT service providers in this world of growing regulation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dennis. And I always love hearing what they're doing. It makes me want to like run down and with signs and meet people and make a difference. And so, you know, I hope you're motivated by that. I mean, obviously they're motivating people if they have so many people on their committee, but you don't have to be on that committee to find out how to make a difference with them. So reach out and figure out what you can do and who you can meet and who you know to get our voice out there. Now I have Jason Thomas, who's going to give us an update about the governance committee.
Good day, everyone. Quick update, the governance committee is generally in charge of our elections that happen in the fall. And we're also working on an ethics framework to follow once we get large enough to actually need some kind of reporting mechanism for that. The third thing we're working on is actual badges or a way for members to self-certify that they're agreeing to follow our code of ethics, where they can list qualifications. If you've been an NSITSP ambassador, where you're or a recruiter, so you're bringing in new membership, and a way to recognize all of our users with those activities. We've got a full committee, and we're very busy in the fall with elections, but this time of year, there's not much going on. So short and to the point.
Thanks, Jason. That's great. Last up, we have Andy Higgins in the marketing committee meeting, or the marketing committee update. I want to give a little tip though, before I hand it over to Andy. If you ever see one of our posts come up, share it, like it, and write something. Give us 5 words. If you give us 5 words, we end up being up higher in other people's feeds, and that helps us get the word out. So please help us by not only just liking and sharing, but write a little something. Get that conversation going. It will help us so much. Okay, so that's my
Heather.
marketing tip. And Andy, it's to you.
Hey, Heather, this is Steve Kazan. Andy is at a conference in a warm tropical place. So
That's nice.
I've drawn the straw to do the presentation for the marketing committee. And if we could switch to the next slide, I'll kind of walk through what we're doing. Thank you from the get-go on the tip on LinkedIn. If you're not following the organization on LinkedIn, I'm fine with you going right now to LinkedIn and find the National Society of IT Service Professionals and follow us right now. And then we will then be in your feed, and you will then start to see all of the posts that are coming out. And we've gotten, one of the things the marketing committee has done in the past, I would say month and a half, is worked with Nicole and her team to do a lot more posts. So building up the brand of our organization and getting the visibility that we need for the group. But let me just talk a little bit about what the marketing committee does. And it sort of falls into a couple different categories, but our main focus is on growing the organization, both in terms of members and sponsors. If there are folks out there that have friends and relatives that are in the MSP world or the MSP vendor world, do us a favor, reach out to those folks, send them the link to our website and get them to sign up. Let them know that this is an organization that they should be supporting. If you have vendors that you like, small vendors that could be sponsors that want to get some love from the NSITSP, by all means, let us know, reach out to us or reach out to them, have them get a hold of us. So this is the part of my slide where we're doing the reference selling piece. So if you can provide us those tips and leads, that would be great. The other thing that the marketing committee does is we have a webinar series, and our webinar series is very, very focused on helping build the professionalism of our audience. And part of that is through marketing tips, operational tips. But the last one we had, I want to kind of point out, because it's a topic that doesn't come up very often, which is how to improve your personal interactions to build your business. And what sort of drove this was a bad personal interaction caused the loss of a customer. And Lisa Shore was our presenter. She's an MSP, owns an MSP, understands how the process works, and really provided a fantastic presentation on how you as an MSP can build and improve your customer interactions so that you don't lose customers, and you build their loyalty, and you grow your revenue per client. So if you have a chance or haven't had a chance to see that one, I thought that was a really useful, and the feedback we got on that presentation was that it was excellent and very productive. The other topics that we talk about are AI. So this is kind of a personal favorite of mine. We have an AI work group that meets periodically, and we share information and best practices around how AI is going to impact MSPs. If you're interested in being part of that group or understanding more about what's going on with AI, by all means, reach out to admin at NSITSP.com or reach out to me directly. And we're happy to invite you to one of the meetings and have you participate and contribute to our learning around what's going on with AI. We have done a series of webinars related to AI and how it impacts MSPs. The first one was about marketing. We then talked about security, which is a huge issue around AI. The last presentation was in December around automating customer service, which is, if you haven't seen the impact of customer service, AI and customer service yet, you definitely will, and you definitely should look into how it's going to impact your particular business. If you have any suggestions, here's another ask on webinar topics. Again, by all means, reach out. Let us know what interests you, what drives your business, and what could help you become more professional. And we're happy to dig into those and figure out when we can get great speakers and great presenters. So if you know any great speakers or presenters, by all means, let us know. The other thing we're spending a lot of time on our meetings is building the plan. So the group of us, we meet every other week, and we're making good progress on figuring out the messaging and the process of sharing that message and building out the marketing plan. I've got to hand it to Howard, who's on the call, and David and Andy and Cameron. Very productive, very forward-looking discussions and work being done to build out that marketing plan, and then communicating that marketing plan out to the audience. We are looking for a couple more volunteers. So if you have marketing experience, if you don't have marketing experience, if you work for a managed service provider or you work for a managed service provider vendor, we're a pretty welcoming group. So by all means, find out and come and attend one of our calls and see where that's headed. I don't know, I've taken a lot of time, but I think this is useful. The last ask has to do with the newsletter. And so part of the communication and the value of what the NSITSP does is success stories. So we're looking for success stories. So Howard and I, mainly Howard, is a writer, right? That's his superpower. And what he's looking for are people that have, or stories of improvements, stories of professionalism, and stories where best practices in the MSP world could be shared with other members. So if you've got a story that you think would be useful to share or interesting to other managed service providers, let us know. Reach out to us. We're happy to have the conversation. If it looks like it's really interesting, we'll do an interview and write up a little post, and then that post can then be shared and educate the rest of the organization. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions in the Q&A session. To get a hold of Howard, if you have a story, it's hmc@howardmcohen.com. So again, feel free to reach out, and he's posted that in the chat. So Heather, I think that's all I've got for this report, but happy again to take questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve. You know, I always feel like the marketing committee, their webinar series has really educational information that I haven't really seen anyone else doing. They really come up with some unique speakers and interesting topics. So it's a great value. It's really a great value. And I want to just take 2 seconds to thank all of our committee members and board members that volunteer their time so graciously and always with a smile on their face and make all of this happen, because it's a lot of work, but it's fun work and we're really doing great things. So thank you. It's a pleasure to serve with you. And I'll send it back to Nicole.
Thank you so very much, Heather. I appreciate it. And thank you, Steve, for also sharing the marketing update. I definitely appreciate that. And at this time, we do want to open up for Q&A and any questions that our members have. Feel free to come off mute and or raise your hand. I think that would kind of help us more if you were to raise your hand, and we'll entertain those questions.
So Nicole, we did have a question about the status of the CISA organization and the CISA activity. And I don't know if you want to chat about that a little bit.
I think Chris is not on the call, but Chris Barber is our representative to CISA, and he sits on the Small Business Community Sub-Council or whatever. I don't know what they call it exactly, but it's the Small Business Council for CISA with the federal government. And they've taken a long time to get organized, but they are finally organized and meeting. And so, you know, one of the things that we talked about, Amy and I talked about 2.5 years ago, we want a seat at the table whenever anybody is talking about IT consultants. And this is a perfect example of something that Chris has worked crazy hard to get us a seat at the table. And is now representing us with this board. And there are other, obviously, a couple dozen small business organizations that are on that board or on that committee. But NSITSP is absolutely one of them. So they haven't really done a great deal yet except get organized, but they're finally organized and they will be meeting. And with luck, Chris will have more to report to us in about 3 months.
We're also a member of the IT Services Sector Council with CISA. And so we actually have 2 seats with CISA now, and it is critically important to our overall mission, as Carl mentioned. Now, we've not been good at disseminating that information to our members. That's something that that we do have on our to-do list to improve that, to get that out to you in our regular newsletters, and also to do some publishing. And we have Mark lined up to help us do that because he's a member also. So appreciate our volunteers, and it's in the works. So you'll be seeing a lot more information coming from our CISA affiliation. Any more questions from anybody? Larry had an important tip in the comments, if you haven't seen it, about LinkedIn and the best way to get the biggest impact. That is, it's important to understand how the various social medias work, and he's right. So actually sharing the post on LinkedIn and then adding your own message to it is the best way to increase the reach for us in LinkedIn.
Great, thank you. And Pierce, would you like to unmute? I see that your hand's raised.
Yeah, hello.
Hi there.
So new first time. I actually met Chris and was referred to check this group out. I run an MSP. And so I'm just kind of getting the feel for the right areas. I was wondering like recommendations for like maybe future webinars. Which committee should I look at being part of or offering things for questions I get from my customers to, I guess, help other MSPs stay up to date with, for instance, like new cyber insurance and the pros and the cons and what these MSPs are going to need to, I guess, on the consultant side, be aware of. Like regular training is definitely something they need to check the box. And these are some vendors that we use. Like, where's the collaborative work that or what committee can help for other MSPs that become members to join, look for this information.
So Pierce, the answer to your question is the marketing committee, right? So send an email to either admin@nsitsp.com or to me at stevekazan@inneronion.com. And yeah, we would love to have topics for webinars. And I guess my one question is cyber insurance. Is that a topic that you're interested in? I mean, there are presenters out there, brokers ready to sell their wares, but there are probably also some experts out there that can talk about what's changed and the impact on MSPs in terms of cyber insurance. So do I get a thumbs up? Is that a good topic?
Yeah, I think so. I just think I see a lot of my customers, they have it, but they don't really know what it is or what they need to do if they ever use it. And a lot of MSPs, they don't sell it. And I'm not on the sales side, obviously a little bit of it, but a lot of it, customers aren't going to pass if they do need to use it because they're not checking all the compliance or the regulations to cover their insurance policy, whether it be multi-factor on admin accounts or regular training. And what is regular training? Does that differ from industry? Does that differ from geographic location? There's a lot of details in there that I think could help an MSP provide more value to their end customer, and as an IT professional or a service provider, differentiate themselves from their competitors.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's good.
So Pierce, I'm 100% on board with you with the insurance question. One of the things I had to do with my tech staff, because as IT people, they just want to jump in and solve a problem. And so, we had a little tabletop exercise on cyber insurance. And I said to them, what's the first thing that you do if there's been some kind of malware incident? And of course they were like, prevent the spread, disconnect the internet, do all this stuff. I was like, no, the first thing you have to do is find out if the customer has cyber insurance. And if they do, what are the requirements that insurance policy has? Because oftentimes it's that you have to contact them first before you touch anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we jump in and start helping, we're actually done the wrong thing in that case.
Yeah.
And we did a few months ago, probably 6 months ago, or maybe even longer ago now, but it'll be in the recordings on the resources section of the website. You have to log in first to see that. But we did do a webinar on insurance, a little different than what you typically see in the industry. So or we see out there. So maybe have a listen to that, and then we can certainly talk about having another one because it's a big topic that's got so many details in it as you outlined. The other thing, though, I wanted to mention was the continuing education, and that's something that we've charged the governance committee to work on. And they are looking at some sort of badging program from us and coming up with those numbers of what's a reasonable amount of continuing education, and as part of our process, right, toward moving toward that verified professional status in our industry. So the topics that you brought up actually are spanning at least 2 of our active committees right now.
And I would just note in the resource area, if you're a professional member, log in, go to the resource area. Page 2 is where you're going to find that recording on insurance deep dive, and from Brian Mahone, one of our members. And you know, the best thing about this presentation, he's not trying to sell you anything. So it is literally like different from what other people are doing in our industry, because so many people, they just want to sell you insurance, right? So this is a great presentation, but it's also something we need to revisit because that world changes, you know, every 20 minutes, and it's huge and it's not going away. And so it's a great topic, and we should revisit it. I would also note that you mentioned selling it. Unless you're an insurance agent, you can't sell insurance. So, but you can partner with people who do. You can't get a kickback, you know, blah, blah, blah. But you should absolutely be pushing your clients to get it. And obviously, you should look at your own contracts. You know, I did a thing in a different group about everybody show up with your insurance contract, and we'll go through them together, because a lot of insurance companies provide training that nobody ever takes. And so your clients may actually have within their liability and cybersecurity policies training on cybersecurity. And some of it is pretty good, right? They obviously outsource to a training organization, but it's already in their insurance agreement. So they should be taking advantage of that.
And kind of on a related topic, the AI discussion we had around security, they talked about having a acceptable use compliance policy. So if you're interested in security and you haven't looked at one, we do have a sample up on the NSITSP.org website. We also have an AI toolkit. So if you're looking for sources of useful AI information, check out the toolkit. It's also up on that same website.
Thanks, Steve. You mentioned the AI work group. Can you provide us with an overview? I know we've talked about our committees, but please provide us with more information about the AI work group and how folks can get engaged with it.
So it's just kind of a casual group. We started last summer with people that had questions about how AI was going to impact their business. And now, since creating the toolkit and posting it, we update and refresh the toolkit. The work group comes up with ideas for topics, critical topics to get more information about. We share the latest tools and the latest trends. So whether it's Microsoft Copilot questions or Bard or OpenAI's products, we share product information, but we also focus on solutions. So, you know, customer service, what's the impact there? Finance, what's the impact there? And sometimes it's just sending out an email. Hey, I read a cool article about how AI is going to impact the MSP world. And we just share those articles within the group. So right now, I think we're up to about 8 people. But if that's a topic that you're interested in or concerned about, by all means, reach out, and we're happy to welcome you in. And again, if you can add information from a different perspective, that would be very useful for us and very helpful. So we meet roughly once a month as topics come up and things change. Any sort of AI related topic is kind of fair game, whether it's people, process, or technology, and the impacts there. We're happy to have those chats with everyone.
Great, thank you. Are there other questions? Or anything that the group would like to share with us?
I would just like to encourage anybody who's a paid member to go to our events page, and just look at when the committees are meeting, and, once a month or whatever, just look and see what's coming up and jump into these. You are absolutely welcome to any meeting that we have, and we would love to have more people. You don't have to be on a committee to be there. And, if the committee meets and there's 6 people and you're number 7, you'll certainly be able to join in the conversation, even if you can't vote on things. And very often, no votes are taken, but many things are discussed. So join in the conversation.
Yeah, Nicole, I just want to, explicitly welcome Pierce. Thank you for coming by and checking us out. I just want to say to everybody, I think one of the hidden nuggets of gold in the NSITSP are these webinars. They're really good, and they're really informative, and they're really valuable. And I think they're really excellent ways for you to gain knowledge that will help you in your business. And I'm always looking for ways we can do more promotion of these videos. And I don't know what the answer is, but can somebody talk about who has access to them and how membership provides certain access and that they can't get just by being, by being a non-member?
Larry, if I heard your question correctly, you're asking about the membership resources that are available and how can our members access those?
Well, kind of. There's I know some of our webinars are open to the general public and some of them are not. And that's more what I was asking about, is the differentiation between those, because there's a lot of value in membership if you have access to those other webinars.
I agree with you, definitely. Thank you, Larry. We do offer multiple types of webinars, and those are communicated to the general public. We'll say, all are welcome to attend. And then those that are specific to members, those are offered at no charge. But then we do have some that are a separate fee for non-members. So to your point, Larry, it definitely pays to be a member, especially if we're offering, anywhere from 2 to 3 web-based professional development opportunities through NSITSP. So those we definitely check out under meetings. Regularly, we're constantly updating and providing information on any of the content that's becoming available or programs that are becoming available. So you can access that on our website under the meetings tab.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. And then also, just to add to that, the recordings are there as well. So if, and those are on demand. If you miss the live participation, you can definitely check out those recordings as well. If there's no other questions at this time, please keep in mind that you can reach out to us at admin@nsitsp.org. Also, we would love to have all of you engaged, whether it's supporting us at any of the upcoming industry events or on a committee or a combination of both. Please feel free to reach out. Again, be mindful that we have our next legislative open Q&A, and we're hoping to see all of you there. And that will be the second Tuesday in March at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Again, thank you. And we will get an email out to let you know when this recording is available. So if you have a company membership and want to engage other company representatives, they can definitely check that out under our member resources. But again, thank you all for your participation today. Bye now.